Good morning, everybody. I'm just out here at a park right now, about to drop a message on faith. It's very beautiful out here this morning. It's been dark and gloomy for the last few days. We've been having a lot of tornadoes here the last few weeks, but I'm so glad it's so beautiful out here today. It's a slight chill this morning, but it feels great out here. And this morning I wanted to drop a message on faith. If you have not done so already, like my page on Facebook, Hard Body Johnson Fitness. I'm a business consultant, business leadership consultant as well, a fitness guru, and a motivational, inspirational speaker. Like I said, if you have not done so already, go like my page, Hard Body Johnson Fitness. I'm a business leadership consultant, fitness guru, and a motivational, inspirational speaker. But this morning I wanted to talk to you about faith. Hebrews 11 verse 6 says, without faith it is impossible to please God. For they that come to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Last night I told you that over the course of the next few days I'll be doing a series on faith. So I wanted to ask everybody this morning, what is faith? Because people have some faith in so many different things. They have faith in money, they have faith in cars, they have faith in their health, they have faith in their significant other. So I wanted to I wanted to ask everybody, what is faith? What does faith mean to you? Because there's also a saying that says, what cannot be defined cannot be determined. So what is faith to you? Also, I wanted to present another question is, what is the object of your faith? What is your faith in? And as the scripture says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. So if you don't believe in God, if you don't trust in God, and if you don't lean and depend on him, then why would you expect him to do things for you? And I say that because a lot of people during this time, they're facing deaths in their family. They're getting discouraged by things that happen on the job. They're getting discouraged by circumstances, things that people are doing to them. There's so many ways to get discouraged, depressed, oppressed, impressed, possessed. But are you spirit-filled and spirit-led in your decision-making? Okay? So what is the object of your faith? And if your faith is in God, how can it be shaken? And the reason why I present that question is because a lot of people say, oh, I lost faith in pastors, or I lost faith in the church, or I lost faith in this. First of all, your faith should be in God. And then if you know your faith is in God, it's in a firm foundation. It's in a solid foundation. So your faith should not be in man. It talks about that in the book of Jeremiah. It talks about the people who put their trust in mankind. Because if you know that man can fail, why would you put your trust in them? Why not put your trust in a firm foundation, something that has a solid foundation, something that's not shaky? And then you have to look at, a lot of people are worshiping other gods. They're not worshiping the Most High God. So if the object of your worship is not something that's solid, then you can expect for the foundation to crumble beneath you. All right, so it says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. So with that being said, you cannot please God without faith. A lot of people are teaching, oh, you got to have grace, and oh, you got to have mercy, and you got to have favor, and you got to have this, and you got to have that. But in Hebrews 11:6, to begin the verse, it says, without faith, it is impossible to please him. So if you think your ways are not pleasing to him and you don't have faith, you don't believe in him, you don't trust in him, you don't rely on him, you don't have confidence in him, then how are you pleasing? How are your ways pleasing to God? So, like I said, that is something for you to think about. What is faith? What is the object of your faith? How is your faith secure? Okay, so think about that. And it also says in the latter portion of that verse in Hebrews 11:6 that for they that come to God must believe that he is. So who is God to you? And it's at different points in scriptures, God reveals himself as different things. He might be a healer. He might be a deliverer. He might be a miracle worker. So what is God to you? What do you need God to do for you? And not just to say it like that, because you got to see God for who he really is and not for just what he does. That's just like you in a relationship, you looking at a person for what they can do rather than for who that person really is. And then you get mad when that person doesn't do what you expect them to do. Does that make sense? So we have to worship God for who he really is and not just for who we want him to be. That's true faith. Because there's a lot of false doctrine being taught, and that's, like I said, that's false doctrine. When you only worship somebody for what they can do for you. All right? So that's another point. So my last point is, and it also says that we must be diligent seekers of him. If we're diligently, that means that we're seeking after him, we're pursuing him, we're actively pursuing him. Because he is the one that's ultimately going to reward us. Yeah, you might praise your boss. Yeah, you might praise your family member, your friend, your associate. But if he's the one, if God is the one in charge of giving you the promotion, why are you praising your boss? Or why are you praising this person for giving you X, Y, and Z? When this God is the one that's ultimately rewarding you or giving you that promotion or advancing you. So that's why I asked before. And that's also, like I said, everybody need to closely examine their lives. What is faith to you? What is the object of your faith? What is your faith secured in? Who is God to you? These are simple questions. And if you know that faith is one of the basic building blocks of the salvation walk. And we're going to talk about salvation too, because there's a lot, like I said before, it's a lot of false doctrine being taught. So, like I said, you have to be able to answer these questions, because when storms come against you, it talks about that in Matthew 13, about basically the parable of the sower. And you sowing your seeds. Some seeds fell on by the wayside. Some seeds fell amongst thorns. Some seeds fell amongst stony places. So we'll go back over that later tonight about the parable of the sower, because it's really deep. Because if your faith is not rooted and grounded in something solid or in a firm foundation, then you're going to be just like the person who built their house on sinking sand rather than something solid like on rocks. So if you notice that in your life that your faith is wavering, don't expect to receive from God. It talks about that in James. So if you shaky in what you're asking for, don't expect to receive it. Because you're asking for it, but you're not really asking for it. You ever had somebody ask you for something and then you know they don't really want it, but then either you give it to them or you don't give it to them. But say, for instance, if you give something to a child and they don't really want it, you already know, first of all, if it's a toy or something, they're not going to really play with it. Or they're not going to really use whatever you give it. But you done gave it to them anyway. So think of your life in the same way. So, like I said, it's so much stuff we got to think about. If you have not done so already, like my page, Hardbody Johnson Fitness. I'm a leadership consultant, business consultant, fitness guru, motivational, inspirational speaker. And like I said, just think about the things I went over today. What is faith? What is the object of your faith? Who is God to you? What is your faith secured in? Don't let your faith reside in sinking sand. Or don't build your faith on sinking sand. Build it on a firm foundation. All right? Y'all have a blessed day. If y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns, please hit me up. You can inbox me. You can write a comment under the status. I will also post the link for my page under this status. All right? Y'all have a blessed day. And put your faith in something firm.